And so I just got all of my oddball little shapes of butts and everything, and I'm gonna just jam them on top of the soup here. I'm gonna throw some cheese on this thing, and we're gonna bake it off super hot. And you know, in a couple of minutes, well, we'll see how long it takes in my little baby oven here or whatever. But we're gonna have a chunky looking, nasty baked French onion soup that you could serve in a restaurant. Okay, serve to royalty, right? And so that's what it's all about. Okay, so let me just give this soup one more little blast here. I wish it was going a little bit longer. We're gonna simulate about another 10 minutes of cooking time. Really, it's about all you got. All you need. It's like I said, it's making a cup of tea. Just getting the flavors out of that bouquet is all we're trying to do right now, okay? I'm gonna give it one more little taste. There's my tasting spoon. It's so cool. Like I said, that it's just some onion and broth and just a little bit of spice and everything. The black pepper is starting to build up. It's just a really nice kind of a background spice, and it just started hitting me there. So it was like a 3-second delay on that black pepper till I started tasting it. That'll start building up over time as you're eating this. Even on a warm day, it makes you feel like it's cooler outside as you're eating that spicy food, right? My sweetness is there. I still feel like I need about one more dollop of salt in there. It's still just not popping like I would like. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this together. Now my bread, my little pieces I didn't mention, I don't make croutons out of these guys. I don't oil them. I actually want them to soak up the liquid, so that works best when they're just dried out. So what I did is I threw my bread in the toaster like an hour ago, and then I just let it hang out. So it's just dried bread right now. I'm not doing anything to it. I've got that, and the cheese I'm gonna use is, we tend to use like a Gruyere or a Swiss slice, and then like a shredded Parm in most of the places that I've used, that I've worked. I have a mixture here, again, quarantine kitchen, I'm using what I have, okay? So I've got a couple of, kind of low-end sliced cheese that I had around, some Swiss cheese, if you will. And then I have a blend of some Parmesan, and then I also have some Pecorino Romano that I had too, that I got from an unknown source, and who shall remain nameless. And I'm going to use that on top of my soup today. It's just kind of what I have around. It's quarantine kitchen, right? So I've got all of my mise en place. I got my bread butts, I got my cheeses, 2 kinds of cheese, I got my soup over here, and I have 2 containers sitting in a pan with a handle that I can grab. If I had single orders of this, I just had a little saute pan, and I could lift it up and control the thing instead of trying to pick up this mug with dripping boiling cheese all over it and everything, right? So in we go. I'm going to grab a ladle right over here. Thanks for your patience, everyone. This is going to be worth it. Trust me. And I'm going to load them up. We usually pretty much go over the top. We don't worry about spilling this stuff. That's part of the presentation, is just like a big dripping gooey mess. So I'm almost to the top. I don't want it like spilling out. And she goes. And another. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. My bouquet's still in there getting knocked around. The thyme leaves are falling off. I'm pretty happy with the flavor of this, guys. But it's one of those things I've made a million times, French onion soup, it's just one of those basics. There's a bay leaf in there. I'm going to grab that. I don't want to serve that in a French onion soup. You never expect the bay leaf in a French onion soup. Okay, and it's almost to the top, okay? I'm going to lay this bread in, kind of nasty and rustic looking, okay? Like I said, they're butts. I'm going to break them up. So, let me get the camera on there. So there's my main pieces. Let's do that. And here's another little piece of butt and another little crusty piece of butt. I'm throwing them all in there. And I'm just going to throw another piece of bread on there. Whoops. Little pieces are sticking out. Some of that bread is going to brown. I'm going to lay down one of the slices to act as a hammock, if you will, okay? And then lots and lots of this second cheese here. I haven't made one of these since I got out of hotels. Like I said, I usually just eat bread and butter with this. It is so delicious. So simple and elemental. I feel like a French peasant getting all les miserables with it. In she goes into my little oven. Ha! Whew. That oven's about as hot as I've ever seen it. Looking good. Okay, while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and wipe things up, see if anybody has any questions out there. I kind of want to sum up the whole process while that goes, and then we're just going to take a look at how gorgeous this all is. It's a beautiful thing. You can see my excitement on my face. I'm actually getting excited about dinner. I have to tell you, this happened last night too. I had the first tacos. I hadn't made tacos since the quarantine started, and I had tacos last night. The sense of anticipation, I was glowing before that first taco went in my mouth. I was looking at my plate. I was so excited. Let's see. So you put it in the hot oven, not under a broiler. Yeah, my stuff's not going to fit down in my broiler. In fact, I don't really have a real broiler down there. It's more of a drawer on there. If you have a broiler, yeah, you definitely could if your stuff will fit down there. And that trick, by using a pan, that'll help you with the whole situation. Trust me, it's better than you trying to use like a baking sheet pan or something. Get something that you have a handle on. Let's see. What can I use to add some umami flavor to my not homemade broth? Why don't you try a little soy sauce or tamari or something in there if you don't like the wheat, the gluten in the soy sauce. Throw a little tamari in there. That's good for the umami. I'm using lots of tamari these days. Let's see. I like the tip of putting cups in the pan than oven. Yeah, much easier. Oh, dude, that saved me. Just years of doing this in hotels. We would have, when you're working breakfast. Let me see. Where's my? When you're working breakfast, you have a little egg pan, right? And after a while, the Teflon wears out in them. So we would have all these blank pans where the Teflon was rolled out, and that's what I used. It's just like we can't use them for anything else, but it was a good handle for a French onion soup, and I could bring it right to the line, take it out of there, and set it up in the window onto the plate that it's being served on, right? So it was just perfect having those little pans around for that. So yeah, I'm still stalling you guys. I'm cleaning up while we stall. Let's kind of talk our way through this, okay? What you guys just saw. I did a very, very short quarantine kitchen happy hour today, okay? Much shorter than usual. I forgot this, my little sunshine happy juice here a few times. So let me get a little of this and let's talk our way through what you guys just saw. Delicious. Now, the first thing we did is I melted butter. I put the butter in a cold pan so the butter didn't start burning, okay? I want really, really gentle. I smashed some garlic cloves and I threw them in here. How many garlic cloves did I throw in there? I don't know, about 3 or 4 of them, right? I'm not really measuring as I go through this stuff. I'm in my kitchen cooking. It's like a freestyle jazz jam here, okay? So, got my garlic in there. Once I started julienning up my onions. Once I got my onions julienned, I sliced them up. I turned up my heat and I started caramelizing those onions, and I just stirred them up into the fat, into that buttery, garlicky goodness, and I stepped away and I let them develop some color, okay? And I waited and I waited. I gave it a stir after a while and spread it out, and I let it develop some color. And after about the 3rd time, I started seeing color in there, and I started seeing it develop. When I saw it brown a little bit, I added little splashes of sherry or wine, or you know what? You could use water for this thing, if you don't have any of this stuff. And if times are tough, hey, a lot of French peasants went that route. You're still going to get an awesome soup out of this, right? I just kept doing that. Deglaze, scrape the bowl with a wooden spoon, or scrape the pot with a wooden spoon, and just developing more and more and more color as I went. How many onions? I think I had 5 onions total in 2 quarts. So I usually picture about 2 onions per quart and then an extra onion for the pot. And that's my general rule. Extra onion in the pot. I think that's a good rule in life, is just always have an extra onion in the pot for that, okay? So hopefully that helped you, okay? Let's see. As those onions are cooking down, getting darker and darker, I added some dried thyme. I added a bay leaf to it, but otherwise it's just garlic and butter and onions so far, right? I worked some black pepper in there as well, and then I tied up a bouquet garni while I was waiting for this to get darker and darker. Once the bouquet's done, I put the liquid in there, or once the onions are done and I'm happy with how dark and mysterious and rich and awesome looking they are, okay, that's when I work my liquids in, okay, a good strong broth. I recommend, my recommendation, if you're not a vegan or something like that, something along the lines of half chicken and half beef broth. That combination together makes an excellent French onion soup. It's a sweet flavored broth on its own. So that works very, very well, okay? If you're using a vegetable stock or something like that, just lots and lots of carrots, celery, onion, parsnip, leeks, lots and lots of bay leaf, thyme, peppercorns, a little rosemary even, right? Lots and lots of cilantro stems for Mo, okay? All of that good stuff. And you can season that with a little bit of tamari, is what we were just kind of talking about. The Japanese soy sauce is really, really nice. It's a good seasoning for a vegetable broth. So I'm going to take one quick little peek at my onion soup. And so far in our discussion, it's just kind of in the simmer stage. It's doing fine. So we were talking about, we got the liquids in there. I threw in my bouquet garni. I bring it up to a boil and I bring it down to a simmer, and I let that simmer until those flavors marry. It's like making a cup of tea at this point. Probably about 10-15 minutes. You start going 20 minutes, you're just losing you're losing flavor out of it, right? You're kind of cooking flavor away. So just keep it simple. Let it go for about 20 minutes and you're done. Once you check your seasoning, make sure it's got a good amount of salt. We worked in some more black pepper to that, and then we went ahead and served it. I threw on some dry bread, some crusty looking bread, and a bunch of cheese on top, and right now it's in there just melting away. It's just developing a little tiniest bit of color when I peeked in there, okay? But otherwise, that's about what you guys saw with this French onion soup. It's so not about recipes. It's about knowing how to caramelize onions. And that caramelized onion, it gives you an element of sweetness that you can work into lots of dishes. I have had situations where I'll have a pasta on my line and it's got caramelized onions, or maybe a sandwich, right, where you want caramelized onions. So you have a big old container where you've caramelized a bunch of onions to throw on there, and we're doing exactly the same thing, getting that color on them, right? That really, really good color, and it gives us that sweetness. I have had caramelized onions on my line when it's not even in my mise en place, when it's not even on my menu, just because sometimes I want a little sweetness in whatever it is that I'm making, my pasta or whatever. It needs a little sweet. Hey, a little handful of this sweet onion relish I would just keep around, and it just gave me this umami, this background. Mo, you were asking about umami for your vegetable stocks. Caramelize some onions up in there and work that in there. It'll give you that umami and it'll give you a nice sweetness to it. It's just a beautiful thing, that technique of caramelizing onions, and just seeing a French onion soup. The next time you pick up a recipe, there's so much that you guys just saw. It's like, how do you even put it into words, right? It's good that you see this stuff. I urge you, before I see you next, get out there, get yourself some onions and some broth or some liquid of some kind, and try this stuff. Try and caramelize that stuff. See if you can get those onions super, super dark and caramelized without scorching them, and then just making a nice onion soup out of that. You're going to be glad you did, and I'd love to hear that stuff. If you guys are cooking any of this stuff I'm talking about, I love it if you guys just throw it on out there. Let's see. We better see what this soup looks like. I'll go ahead and pull it on out. We'll see if it's worthy. So it's going, that onion's going, the oven is going a little bit hot, but that's about what she looks like. It got a little bit blackened right there, and what I do for that is the Nelson flick. Yes, that's the culinary term. I just flick the little burnt pieces off of those, and they're gone. And everything else is looking good, right? I've got some delicious looking, just chunky looking bread sticking up out of there with lots and lots of cheese on top, and you hardly can't go wrong with that. The onion soup, by the way, I'm just gonna get another little taste. I'm not gonna get into my bowl, but I'm gonna grab another one out of my pot here. And I gotta say, just the color of it, I'm so pleased with it. It's just awesome. Look at the color on that. It's beautiful. It's fat-free. I'm gonna give it another little taste. It's awesome. awesome, guys, okay? I could put that in the window of any hotel in town and sell it for $8.50 a crack or whatever it is these days in the hotels, right? It's probably more expensive than that. There it is. It's just so good. I'm still freaking out about it. It's just technique, guys, and that's what industry cooking classes are all about. I hope you're enjoying this stuff. I hope you're learning from this stuff, guys. It's what I want to do. I want to get more people to just be able to walk in their kitchen and just put on an apron and start throwing down, guys. That's what my goal is here. You're basically looking at free culinary school right here. Everything I've ever done in my little quarantine kitchen has been a lecture that I get paid to deliver to students all the time. Okay, guys. So hope you're picking up stuff from this stuff. Keep watching. Stay safe during the quarantine. Hey, watch for additional little quarantine happy hours. Sometimes I throw out a little extra one here and there. You may see that popping up. Oh, and finally, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to build a thing over there, right? Right now I'm just on like Facebook and Insta a little bit. Trying to blow it up on YouTube. I got tons and tons of videos over there. I see people are still cooking beans from another class. That is awesome. I love that, guys. You're doing it, and that's what I want to hear, okay? Thanks again for coming to another Quarantine Kitchen Happy Hour. This has been French Onion Soup. This has been Chef Dave Nelson doing it again here in the Farm to Fork capital, Sacramento, California. I hope you guys are hanging in tough, and we are going to love to see you again next time. Don't forget, final word, ladies and gentlemen, that the party, it's always in the kitchen. It's in the kitchen, people. We'll see you next time. Boom. Come on.